guys, it's Jessie and welcome back to my channel and welcome back to a very exciting video. I have been wanting to film this video for ages. There's been so much going into me filming this video. Literally my whole one of my last few videos was me literally reading these books for a week just so I could get to make this video, which is going to be my tier ranking Colleen Hoover books. If you guys don't know, Colleen Hoover is literally my favourite author, and now I can officially say I've read technically all her books I can. So I really wanted to be able to read every single one of these books because it really annoys me when YouTubers make this video and they haven't read like 10 of them. The only ones that I haven't read are the two ones that are like 2 More Days and One More Step, the ones that she's got a short story in and it's a collection of larger stories. I will probably read them at some point, but they aren't just solely her books, so I just didn't really want to read that entire thing just for this video because they're like 700 pages. There's loads of authors in those, and also they're not just like standalone her books, and I didn't want to just read her books out of those books because it just seemed like a lot like to buy to just read like one part of it. Anyway, I haven't read those two, and the only other one I haven't read is Maybe Now, which is so annoying because that is actually one of her proper books, and that is because they are redoing the covers, so I can't find it in person anywhere. Like I have been looking, I promise, for ages, can't find it anywhere in person, and online it seems really expensive. I don't know why. I will kind of continue to try and look for it and then do an updated one of these. I'm planning on rereading some of her favourite books, so some of my favourite books of hers, so definitely will do an updated version at some point. But I have the best I have here, and I'm just really excited to do this video. I've not done a tier ranking video before and I'm really excited about it. You can literally see Colleen Hoover books here. These 5 are literally Colleen Hoovers, and then most of my top shelf is also Colleen Hoovers. So without further ado, I will just get into this little tier ranking thing. Firstly, going through my tiers. So the bottom tier, sadly we do have to have a haven't read one. This annoys me so much, but it's just got to be there. Bottom tier then, besides that, is I Hate Miles Archer and this book. So we already know one that's going in here. It's not just going to be that book. There are a couple others. This is for basically like, I just hate these characters, because annoyingly in a few of these books I just hate the characters, and other books I just really didn't like. I mean, one Colleen Hoover book is the worst book that I've ever read. So my literally favourite book is by her and least favourite book is by her, so she's got some range. So we've got that for just books I don't like. I just don't like them. I'm sorry, she's my favourite author, but there are some books that I don't like. Then next up we've got Just Fine, A Little Forgettable, which are pretty self-explanatory. They're fine books, nothing too bad about it. Just I've got like a few ideas. I know what's going in here. Like, they're just like not ones I'll ever reread. I probably won't really remember the characters' names in a few months, but they're fine. I did enjoy them. They're probably a 2 or 3 star book. Then we've got Just Good, Maybe a Little Underrated. So these are good books. I think maybe, obviously as it says, they're underrated. Could definitely do with some more hype, but they're not top tier. Then we've got So Close but Not Quite Soul Crushing. These are the books that are like, they are incredible, but they just don't hit that 5 star like I'm crying on the floor, this is incredible, which brings us up to top tier, Crying on the Floor. Self-explanatory, these are just soul crushing incredible books, and the tier below is just like, it's not quite there, and these ones just hit absolutely so hard. So without further ado, let's just get straight into it. I am just going to be going in order of the way they have it at the bottom. So the first one is November 9th, and I am putting it up here. So I did give this one 5 stars. I read this one, I think it was one of the first Colleen Hoover books I read, maybe like 4th or 5th or so of her, so quite a old book for me. I did give it 5 stars. I do want to reread it to see if I would still give it 5 stars. This didn't completely like make me cry on the floor, but it was quite close. Like, I really did enjoy this book at the time. The plot twist in this, the first one, like I literally just sat up in bed like hand over mouth, shocked, and did not expect it, and it really made me feel like I didn't expect to feel so strongly about it. But this one is going in tier number 2. Not quite soul crushing. I don't know why, it just doesn't hit the same. I don't love Fallon and Ben just as much together as I do other characters, but they are very cute. Then we do have one that is top tier, and that is Reminders of Him. Oh my god, this is probably joint for my favourite Colleen Hoover book. I am obsessed with this book. I've only read it once, really want to reread it. I just loved everything about this book. I loved that it wasn't entirely romance centered. There were kind of other aspects of kind of family stuff going on, and I adored it. I really love this book. Could not recommend it more. So then we have Maybe Now, which is basically the one from the Maybe Someday series that I haven't read, so that's just going in the haven't read box. Sorry about that. Then, okay, this one I think is going to be a bit controversial. We have Hopeless. which I hated and didn't like, which is funny considering where you'll see I'll put another one in the series on here. But I did not like this book. I did read it as an audiobook, so that could have been why, but like there's other audiobooks that I do like, so I don't think that's the reason. I really hated Sky and Holder in this, which is funny again when you'll see my further rankings, but I did not like this at all. Like, I don't know why, I found it so insta-lovey in like such a cringy way. I found Holder way too intense. I found Sky so much like I'm Not Like Other Girls, and I found the plot twists so predictable. I've never been able to predict a book so easily as this one. Everyone says it's like a jaw-dropping plot twist, which blows my mind. Like different things where I was like, this is so obvious, and then there was only one other plot twist near the end that was so minor. It was like just like an added detail really that I was like, oh, I didn't expect that so much, but then that was it really. Like all of the main plot twists were just so predictable to me, which was so upsetting because so many people love this book, like really love it, and I just really didn't like it. Like it was the first Colleen Hoover book that I didn't like actually when I read it, because I only read it back in March, but yeah, very disappointing this one, I can't lie. So then we have Never Never, which actually I really enjoyed. I'm putting this in just good, maybe a little bit underrated, because that's really how I feel about this. I'm pretty sure I gave this 3.75 stars. This was nearly a 4-star book for me. It's got a little bit of mystery. I actually really like the two main characters together. Like, it was a little bit cringy at points, but overall I did enjoy it. It's quite a long one. It's like split into 3 parts, so it's either 3 really short books or one kind of over 500-page one, but overall I really enjoyed this one. I thought it was so cute. No one ever speaks about it, but I really liked it. I thought it was so fun. Really like kept me reading. I really wanted to find out what happens, which is obviously good with a mystery, so yeah, really enjoyed that one, and I like that quite a lot. Then we have Finding Perfect, which is the novella that kind of helps to tie together the Hopeless series and the All Your Perfect series, or All Your Perfect is just one book really. I'm putting this also in just good, maybe a little bit underrated. I gave this one 4 stars. I really liked it. Trouble is, it's just so short, I can't put it in so close but not quite soul crushing. It just really like didn't have the kind of depth to be able to do that, but I really loved the way it tied these 2 books together. It actually made me a little bit emotional when I was like thinking back to the other characters from the other books when they were brought back up again. Like, I really enjoyed this for a novella as well. I'm not normally the biggest fan of novellas. I mean, I really enjoy them, but I would never normally give them too high ratings, because I sometimes, from the ones I've read, found it a bit too short to get that kind of emotional depth that I want from like a 5-star read. So unfortunately, a lot of the time I kind of stick a novella around a 3-star, but this one I really enjoyed. I thought it was so cute and really loved it. So yeah, very short but very good, and I actually read that one last week, so that's quite fresh in the mind. Then we've got One More Step, which sadly goes in the haven't read category. Then we have Confess. So this one I'm struggling where to put this. It's somewhere in between Just Fine, a little forgettable, and just good, maybe a little underrated, because I don't I'm trying to think back to this one. This is with, I think her name's Autumn Owen. I want to check what rating I gave this one, because I really actually can't remember for the life of me, which is really bad. Let me check my little Storygraph account and see what I rated it. Okay, I gave this one 4 stars, which is quite good, so I'm gonna put this in good, maybe a little bit underrated. I'm going to change that from just because it is good, maybe a little bit underrated. I am putting this in that category. It is good. I badly can't remember too much about it, which makes me think it should be forgettable, but actually maybe it is a bit forgettable because I've kind of forgotten about it. I remember the end plot. I'm actually going to move it down. Sorry. I think that's really bad because it's a good book, but I literally have forgotten about it. That's so bad. I know I read it this year as well, so I read it less than 6 months ago and I've literally forgotten about it. I can't remember any of the plot points really. There's something about a child in there as well. I actually really can't remember. That's so bad. Okay, I guess I'll have to put it in there. I think I should probably reread this one because I read this in February, so I want to move it up to good, but I just think I can't, considering that I literally have forgotten about it. So it definitely is forgettable, and that's so bad. But I overall did enjoy this book. I think I really liked it at the time, so yeah, sadly it's going in the middle there, because actually if I look at it, I did prefer Never Never, which is really bad. So I might need to reread Confess, see if I remember much of it, and then give it a re-rating. Then we have Regretting You, which is another one that I don't see many people talking about. I love this one. I'm putting this in so close but not quite soul crushing, because it didn't crush my soul or anything, but I really love this. It was kind of like a mother-daughter story, and you would get alternating point of views each chapter, and then it will kind of follow their individual love stories with different people. There was a childhood friends to lovers, and then kind of like a bad boy kind of romance, and it was all sparked by like a big family secret getting revealed. So this was really good. Really liked it. I loved just like the family in this, the dynamics. It was really good. I really enjoyed it. So yeah, definitely would recommend that one. I do think that one's very underrated. Then we have Heartbones, which I also adored. This was so cute. This is really close to be a 5-star read for me. Like, I don't think it quite hits there. I just don't know why. I just don't think it quite hits, because I know Bea annoyed me quite a bit at times, but I loved her and Samson together. I didn't expect this plot twist at all. I just thought they were absolutely adorable, and this was such a cute like summery love story. Obviously there's kind of twists and stuff like that, but just so good. Really enjoyed this. Then we've got Layla, which is weird. Layla is the weirdest Colleen Hoover book I've ever read. I'm putting this in just fine, a little forgettable. This is very much a 3-star read for me, and it very much was just fine, if not a little bit forgettable. I don't think I'll ever actually forget it because of how weird it was, but overall it's not something that I would necessarily recommend to people because it just is odd, and like I can't describe it in any other way other than just odd. It's like a little bit paranormal, like a little bit mysterious, but also romance, but overall not too bad. I do quite like it. Then we have Point of Retreat, which is the 2nd book in the Slammed series, I believe, which is told from Will's point of view rather than Laken's, which is the 1st book. So in Point of Retreat, I don't think I liked it quite as much as Slammed, so I'm going to put it in just fine, a little forgettable. I think I might have actually given this 2 stars because I actually didn't like Will's point of view at all, really. I was a big fan of like Laken and the 1st book, but yeah, unfortunately that one didn't hit quite as well for me. Overall it was just fine. It is forgettable because I read this last week and can't really remember what happened. I'm pretty sure, oh no, I do kind of remember now. It felt like there was kind of contrived conflict, and it was just like a miscommunication type of thing, and just like one character kind of not telling someone something that they really should tell them. Like, it was just a bit stupid. So didn't love that one, unfortunately, and I think the Slammed book should have been a standalone. The other 2 in the series I think really kind of brought it down for me, I can't lie. Then we have All Your Perfects, which I read recently, and that is going in so close but not quite soul crushing. Obsessed with this one. This was so good. I really loved it. Like, I can't lie, I thought this was such a lovely story. I mean, obviously it's not lovely, it's probably not the right word because it's not white super nice and stuff, but at some points, but I thought it was a very real depiction of like a relationship with problems. I loved the then and now, and overall I really enjoyed the couple together, and I really felt for them, and I read this all in one night. Like, I binged it. I thought it was incredible. Then we have This Girl, which is my least favourite Colleen Hoover book I've ever read, I can't lie. This book made me really dislike Will from Will and Laken. It's basically just felt like a filler book. It's basically Will telling the story of the relationship from his perspective, like, and it's just so similar. Like, there's no difference in between. Like, I felt like Losing Hope and Hopeless, which I'll talk about in a bit, there was a big enough difference between the stories that it didn't feel repetitive. Sorry if you can hear my laptop literally overheating and dying. There was enough of a difference between the perspectives for me, but this one literally just felt like the same story and just like even more boring. Like, I really didn't enjoy it at all. I think I gave this 1 star or something like that. Like, it really was not good, I can't lie. Then we have Finding Cinderella, which is the 1st novel in the kind of Losing Hope, Finding Perfect novella series, and I'm putting this in just fine, a little am I? No, I'm changing that. I'm putting it in good, maybe a little bit underrated, because, oh, actually am I can't tell. Oh, this is so difficult. I feel like I want to move Point of Retreat down to this one and then move Cinderella down to here, because I find it wrong to put Finding Cinderella in the same category as Point of Retreat, because I definitely liked it significantly more. Like, I actually liked the book. So I'm going to put Point of Retreat in that one, but I want to know that This Girl is like even a level below that. Like, it's the worst book I've ever read. So that's saying a lot. So anyway, I'm putting Finding Cinderella in just fine, a little forgettable, because to be fair, it was like, it was just a fine little novella, very quick. I liked Daniel and Six together. I thought they were really cute, but overall it was just fine. I definitely didn't like it more than Confess, so that's why I think it should be in this category, and I'm happy with that. Then the classic, I couldn't not put it here, It Ends With Us is my favourite book. It may be generic, but nothing has resonated me and like crushed my soul like This Ends With Us has. Literally crying on the floor. Sorry if the angle changed slightly, my camera battery died, so I had to recharge it and then come back. But we are back. I believe I was talking about It Ends With Us, so I'll just kind of go where I think I left off. But that is literally my favourite book of all time. I'm absolutely obsessed with it. I think it is incredible. I've never kind of felt connected to a book like I did with that one, and I'm just absolutely obsessed with it. Like, it's really just one of the best books I have ever read, and I just loved it so much, and really cannot put that into words. I'm really excited to reread that soon. I know I'll still feel 5 stars about it, but just to kind of reread it again, because I did read it all in like one sitting, I'm pretty sure. So next up we have Losing Hope, which is the second book in the Hopeless series. So I'm actually think I'm gonna put this one, I'm not sure what I rated it actually, let me check on my phone. I think it was 3 point something stars. I gave it 3.25 stars. So I think I'm gonna put this in the kind of same one as Layla and Finding Cinderella. It was really good overall. Again, I mean, I already knew the story because it was just hopeless from Dean's point of view, but I actually really did enjoy it a lot more. I definitely think it's towards the top end of this category for me. I really liked the bit we got before they even met from his kind of backstory. I thought that was so much more interesting, and overall I just thought this story was so much better from Dean's point of view than Sky's. I understand why the first one was from Sky's point of view, so you could have the plot twist and stuff, but really absolutely adored this one. Compared to Hopeless, it was just 10 times better. Then we have Maybe Not, which is the other novella from the Maybe Sunday series. This is also going in just fine, a little forgettable. This is a very smutty novella about Brennan and Bridget, the 2 roommates that Ridge and Sydney share in Maybe Sunday, and this was much better than Maybe Sunday. I thought I actually really liked them together. I would have much preferred them to have a whole book rather than Ridge and Sydney, I can't lie. But overall this was just a little bit forgettable. Like, I don't think very much happened at all. Again, it was very short, but it was just fine, a very decent book. Then we have Maybe Sunday, which I hated. That is going in the bottom tier category. This is not a good book. Overall it's written well, so I shouldn't say it's not a good book, but I hated the characters in this. None of the main characters are likable. It's got a trope I hate. Like, I've talked about this a lot recently, so I won't dwell on this, but really don't like the characters in this book at all. Then we have Without Merit, which I think is going to go in the just fine, a little forgettable category. Again, that's a very big category for me now, but it's just fine, honestly. Like, it's good, but nothing crazy really. It's just kind of an average story. I didn't like the romance in this one, but I felt that this was more of a kind of family story than a romance story. The romance was completely forgettable, and I didn't even really root for them together. I much preferred just kind of hearing about Merit's family and things like that. But overall it was decent. I think I read this in a couple of sittings and it was fine, just very much just fine for me, to be honest. Like, it wasn't that crazy. Then we have Slammed, which I'm putting in good, maybe a little bit underrated, because I actually really enjoyed it. I thought it was really good. I just really liked it, I can't lie. I thought it was definitely a bit, you could definitely tell it was one of her first books. I think it was her first book ever, but it is good overall. I definitely think the rest of the series kind of brings it down a lot. I don't like the rest of the series, but overall this was good and I did enjoy it. I really liked Laken and Will in this. I really liked the trope in this. I thought it was done well, and overall I thought this was really good. Then we have Too Late, which is a bit of a tricky one for me because I understand that the plot of this is a little bit convoluted, but I will put it in good, maybe a little bit underrated. And that kind of makes me want to move Confess Up, because I do think, okay, this is where we're going to do it. We're going to move Confess Up and Too Late both into good, maybe a little bit underrated. I know I said I forgot about Confess, but overall I do think it is better than the other ones in that category, I can't lie. So I'm set on this. So Too Late is really quite Wattpad-y, but overall I did really enjoy it as a book. Like, I found it so fun, and not fun's the wrong word, but like I really enjoyed reading it, and I do think it's definitely underrated. Like, nobody talks about it, so it's not like a mind-blowing story, but it was very gripping for me, and I definitely really wanted to kind of see what was going to happen next, and I really enjoyed the read. So in that sense I think it's underrated. It's definitely very dark, but I hear nobody talking about this, but like, it's definitely better than a lot of the books on here. It's difficult because with things like Layla and this one, I put them very similar, and like overall I think Layla's better written, but like it's just a bit weird. Like, I don't know, these two middle categories for me are very similar. I am going to just like sort these at the end into my actual order of how much I like the books, but overall yeah, I think I'm happy with that one. Then 2 More Days is going in in Haven't Read, obviously because I haven't read it, and Ugly Love is going into I Hate Miles Archer, obviously because I hate Miles Archer. Trouble is, this book isn't bad, it's fine, but I just don't like Miles as a character really at all. I didn't want him and Tate to get together. I think he treated her absolutely awfully, and I think there was no character development there. Like, he really had one moment where he was like, oh cool, like I've done this thing that now means that I just completely have changed as a person, and it made no sense to me whatsoever. I didn't like one of the tropes in this from the past bit. I thought it was really not my thing at all. So yeah, overall not a fan of Ugly Love. Do not think it deserves the hype at all, and I don't think they were cute together, even slightly, like not at all. Did not want them to end up together really at that point. And then we have Verity, which is going in Crying on the Floor. This book was insane. I love this one so much. This is her first kind of proper thriller, and it was mental. Like, actually I'm obsessed with this book. It was so good. I really wish I could read it from the start again. Like, it really has you kind of second guessing like unreliable narrator, stuff like that. Like, it's so creepy. I didn't like the romance in this. The couple I didn't enjoy, but overall I thought that the whole story was insane. Like, really just like next level. Cannot recommend this more. So that's why it has to go in top tier for me. So I'm just gonna quickly move these around so I can put them in order of like how much I like them and how I would actually kind of rank them. Okay, so this is my not completely definitive but overall ranking of my Colleen Hoover books in terms of how much that I like them. I've now put these in order going left to right in terms of my preference. So top row goes It Ends With Us, Reminders of Him, and then Verity. Those are my three favourite Colleen Hoover books in that order. Then we've got All Your Perfects, Regretting You, Heartbones, November 9th. Then Never Never, Finding Perfect, Slammed, Confess, and Too Late. After that we've got Layla, Finding Cinderella, Losing Hope, Without Merit, Maybe Not. And then in my final category of the books that I didn't like, we've got Ugly Love, Point of Retreat, Maybe Someday, Hopeless, and This Girl. So let me know how you guys would rank these books. I know my ranking is very different compared to a lot of other people's, so this may be very controversial. I think this is definitely controversial. Putting Ugly Love in the bottom tier is very controversial for me, but overall I am kind of pleased with this. I reckon once I do a couple rereads, once I get Maybe Now read, and I probably will end up reading the two kind of short stories in those collections because I'm actually starting to get into short stories now. I definitely will redo this maybe near the end of the year, but overall I am very pleased with this so far. Definitely the top two categories I'm pretty much set on. I definitely know they need to be there, and the bottom one there. It's just the two middle ones. I probably should have differentiated them a little bit more because it's not like I necessarily think that Too Late is a better book than Layla. It's just like, it's difficult because I think Too Late's underrated, but I think Layla's technically a better book. Like, it's really difficult for me, those two middle categories, so I think you could probably swap them around a decent amount. Maybe not the first three and the bottom three, but like Confess, Too Late, Layla, and Finding Cinderella for me are very much interchangeable there. Probably could have done with a middle category with those in, but anyway, I really hope you guys did enjoy this video. If you did, don't forget to give this a like down below, hit subscribe, turn on the bell for a little club, and make sure you turn on all notifications. Then you'll be notified every single time I post a new video. If you want to watch my other videos, there'll be two on the screen now to pick from, as well as a load linked up in the cards from earlier. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!